We all like to think we see the world for what it truly is. We have our information and our experiences, but what if your entire reality, everything you've ever known, is actually just a tiny circle of light at the top of a dark hole? Over 700 years ago, the great Muslim scholar and poet Moulana Rumi told a story that is more relevant today than ever. It's known as the frog in the well. On the surface, it's a simple fable, but underneath, it is a devastatingly sharp critique of the human ego and our tendency to mistake our comfort zone for the entire universe. Today, we're diving into the depths of Rumi's wisdom to see if we, too, are living like the frog and, more importantly, how we can finally start swimming in the ocean. The story, the meeting of two worlds. Once, in a deep, damp well, there lived a frog. He was a king in his own mind. He knew every mossy stone, every cold drip of water, and the exact diameter of his world. To him, the well was the beginning and the end of all things. One day, a stranger appeared at the edge of the well. This was a frog who had traveled from the great ocean. The well frog, curious but arrogant, looked up and asked, "Where do you come from, traveler?" "I come from the great ocean," the stranger replied. The well frog paused. He had never heard of an ocean. He assumed it must be a slightly larger puddle. He hopped a few inches across the water and asked, "Is your ocean as big as this?" The ocean frog smiled sadly. "No, my friend, it is much larger." The well frog hopped halfway across the well, making a grand splash. "Then is it this big? Half the size of the entire world?" "Not even close," the traveler replied. The well frog grew frustrated. He gathered all his strength and leaped from one stone wall to the other. "There! It cannot possibly be larger than this entire well. You are a liar and a fool." The ocean frog looked down with pity. "How can I describe the infinite to someone who measures the world in inches? The ocean has no walls. It is a vastness that will swallow 1,000,000 wells like yours and never even notice." But the well frog didn't listen. He turned his back, convinced that the traveler was insane. He chose the safety of his walls over the truth of the horizon. The analysis: why we are the frog. Rumi isn't just talking about frogs. He's talking about us. The well represents our limited perspective, our biases, our cultural bubbles, and our academic degrees. The ocean represents divine truth, or the infinite complexity of the universe. Why did the well frog get angry? Because the ocean frog wasn't just offering a new fact. He was threatening the well frog's identity. If the ocean exists, then the well frog is no longer a king. He is just a tiny creature in a very small hole. Rumi's lesson is clear. The ego prefers a small, certain prison over a vast, uncertain freedom. We often cling to our small wells of knowledge because they make us feel important. So, we call the ocean a lie because we are too afraid to admit how much we don't know. So, how do we stop being the frog? It starts with the realization that the circle of light above us isn't the whole sky, it's just a glimpse. Rumi invites us to be the traveler, not the resident, to have the humility to say, "My well is not the world." He challenges us to expand our containers, to listen to the ocean frogs in our lives, and to realize that the walls we think protect us are actually the things keeping us small. The next time you feel absolutely certain that you have the whole knowledge about something, ask yourself, am I looking at the ocean, or am I just staring at the walls of my own well? The water is deeper than you think. Don't be afraid to swim. If this story resonated with you, hit the like button and share it with someone who might need to see the ocean today. And as always, keep seeking. I'll see you in the next one.